What is up and welcome to day 6. So this is our bonus day. We are going to be going over mobility and recovery. So recovery and mobility facilitation, we're going to start to learn the beginning of how we can really start to reverse joint pain and never stop from getting hurt again. And this is the final pillar for optimal health and performance. So today's lesson, we're going to be going over proper recovery and how adaptations actually occur in the body. And then we're going to be going over how to actually recover from workouts like a boss and the best recovery practices, and actually give you a way to how you can score your recovery, and so you know that you're getting enough in. And then lastly, we're going to be going through a mobility and muscular imbalances and a chronic pain assessment. So why is recovery important? So what happens when we don't get enough of recovery in? And then what happens when we do get the proper amount of recovery? So to answer this, I like to think of how we can start to really figure out if we're getting the adaptations that we want. So what I mean by adaptations is getting the results that we want, right? So results happen when we put a certain demand or stimulus on our body, and then our body recovers and adapts to that demand, and then we get the result that we want. So when we don't get enough recovery, but we're constantly beating the training in, what we can find start to happen is that you start to, on the psychological concept, you're not seeing results overall. Like, you're going to start to have a little bit of lack of motivation and drive come along with that, as it'll just take a toll on you. But more physically, what tends to happen when you're not getting enough recovery, you can start to notice that your joints are starting to hurt a little bit more. You're not as strong. Your performance is dropping off. Maybe you're getting tired a lot quicker. You find yourself, your balance maybe getting a little bit off. That's when we're really into like the overtraining, overexertion. We're not equating and we're not getting enough recovery for the stimulus that we're doing. And then what happens when we are getting proper recovery? So when we're getting proper recovery, you'll see the muscle gain that you want. You'll see the fat loss that you want. You'll see the performance and the strength gains that you want. You know, the mile time getting better. And it really comes down to what I talked about earlier, is this adaptation. So how do adaptations occur in the body? So a principle that we want to understand is called the SAID principle, which is specific adaptation to imposed demands. So think of the demands as what we place our body in, whether that be like the lifting weights, the running, swimming, or is that demand that we're putting on our body being on the couch, like the one behind me. So for adaptations to occur, or the results that we want to see occur, we have to have the stimulus, which is the training and the demand. Then our body goes through a recovery and remodeling phase, meaning, so think of an example like when we are lifting weights, we start to rip apart and cause these little microfiber tears. And then when we recover, our body remodels and then makes it bigger and stronger, therefore getting us the adaptation that we want. In this case, that would be building muscle. So recovery is important, and recovery involves multiple aspects. And recovery involves our overall stress response. It involves the type of food that we're eating, the how much water we're drinking, and ultimately the sleep that we're getting as well. So we have to start to see it as a big picture. With recovery as well, like I talked about the stress, and we talked about previously, is that the cortisol hormone is a big stress one, and that plays a huge factor. So if we're under recovering, constantly stressed, guess what's going to happen? Our testosterone is going to get out of whack, and that's going to impact our results that we ultimately want to have. So recovery plays a big component in not only getting the muscle gains and strength gains that we want, but also helping our overall hormones, which ultimately impacts our metabolism and everything. So everything is connected. So what are some of the best recovery practices, and how can we start to evaluate our recovery a little bit more and place a little bit more importance on it? So this is called the recovery index. And if we think about our training and our recovery as equal components to one another. So this equals 100, this needs to equal 100. So if I have a super hard challenging workout where, I'm crushing the weights, it's super heavy, if I can literally feel the burn going and I'm just like exhausted, that would be like 100 point value for the workout. Now we need to make sure that we recover from that. It means at minimum, we need to have a recovery value of 100 at least. The reason I say at least and maybe more is because sometimes the external stresses in life and things like that will poke and prod away at some of the value from these. So you can see over here on the protocol, that just means the mode of recovery, and then the value is the points that we assign to it. So 8 hours of sleep, that would be 50 points overall. I mean, you're like, damn, hell yeah, I'll get half the way there if I just sleep right. Well, how many of us are actually sleeping 8 hours? Probably not all of us. And this is uninterrupted deep sleep. So if you're having sleep problems, that number is going to go down. If you get interrupted, wake up multiple times throughout the night, it goes down. So every hour of sleep it goes down, you're looking at taking off anywhere from 10 to 15% off. Now we have massage as well. So deep tissue massage, sports massage, that's going to be a 50 out of 100. So you're like, okay, I just sleep and get massages. Like, let's go. Well, we can't always get massages each and every day. Now, if you look at proper nutrition, right? Proper nutrition, meaning we have the right amount of carbs, we're having the timing, they're whole, quality, organic type foods, whole foods, that would be 25 on the value. Now, if you're not eating that way, you're eating some processed foods, you're eating some things that are quick microwavable, you're eating some, Twinkies and ding dongs and cookies and that stuff, that is not proper nutrition, and that'll actually start to take away from the value and diminish it. Now, meditation is in there, and honestly, meditation might be a little bit higher, and some other forms like Qigong or Tai Chi and things like that. They're super important because not only do they get the blood flowing, but they actually are a form of movement-based meditations that actually help lower your stress response and lower cortisol and get your body into a parasympathetic state, which is the rest, digest, recovery state. And that's why meditation is really important and can be a huge benefit to actually your overall performance. A little side note, I was actually part of a study at Cal Poly in the strength and conditioning system, and they had one group of athletes, same program, same everything, complete Qigong meditation, 15 minutes every single day, and then they had one group that didn't, and the group that did got anywhere from 10 to 15% stronger in all of their max lifts and had a better quality of life overall. So meditation not only is great for other aspects that I'm sure you've heard, but also from a performance aspect, it does help your body physiologically as well. Now, moving on, 20 to 30 minute walks, it's another 25 point value. Again, that's the same principles. You're getting the parasympathetic, you're getting the blood flowing, you're getting some of the metabolic lactate and stuff like that out of the system flowing through. Now, one of my favorites that I think many people don't actually do, which is targeted range of motion work or end range of motion mobility type stuff. This is where you can start to really fix muscular imbalances, get some more flexibility. That stuff is all great, and it's actually what we provide inside of a weekly live class inside of Athlete Academy, the program that we have. Now, next one, moving on, is ice baths, contrast showers. These are beneficial. They help get the stress response going in a way that helps activate some like heat activate proteins and other things that help along that aspect and reduce some inflammation. The ice baths, contrast showers, and saunas are all in that same category. All have 25 value on there. And then Normatec MVP system, if you have one of those, you know what it is. It's lymphatic type blood flushing inflammation type system where it moves it up. But if you don't know, don't worry about it. It's an expensive thing. But it's 25. Next is foam rolling on the list, and this is only 10. So many people think that foam rolling is like the end all be all. It's a great tool to open up and get your mobility and open up the joints and things like that to get you going and get you feeling good. But from a recovery value, it's only about 10. And then next we have 30-minute naps for 10. And every 30 minutes that you add, you're going to stack on another 10 value. And then I put alcohol on here so that you can see it's a negative 25% because it really does impact you in a lot of different ways. And I want you guys to understand that, this other stresses in your life, the crazy chronic stress, if you're getting any from work, and just other things going on, maybe smoking, what other recreational things that you're doing, that just aren't quite the healthiest, those are actually going to have a negative value for yourself. So just crushing pre-workout every single workout and being caffeine every single day, those will start to take away from your overall and start to minus away from your recovery for that. So this is a way you can start to figure out, oh, am I under recovering? Am I, there's no such thing as over recovering, but am I under recovering, and am I creating this debt of recovery debt that then will lead to chronic inflammation, will lead to muscular imbalances, will lead to those like joint pain. So we need to make sure that we're taking the steps in order to reverse some of these processes to allow us to get the adaptations that we want. And ultimately, it becomes easier. You don't have to hit your head against the grindstone every single day when you have proper recovery in there. Now, this leads me to my next thing that you guys are going to do in the lesson below. This is actually a trigger point assessment. So you can see you're just going to have two guys like this. It's just going to be a little tab that you have, but you're going to go through and literally map out on your body and put dots where all the little muscle, where all your muscle knots are, and then shade the tight and stiff areas. So you can literally get a map of your entire body and see where you are at right now. So that way you can start to see like, oh, I need to prioritize, maybe some stretching, some massage work, or some range of motion work, because these things are really tight. It's because it's when we get, say, 2, 3, 4, 5 knots here, and then maybe one in our butt over here on the same side, and then we notice, oh wait, my knees and my ankle hurt. Okay, well maybe it's because these muscles right here aren't firing properly, and then I'm having to compensate and shift my weight, which is causing this knee pain over here. So this is just a first assessment to see what's really going on, so you can understand your body a little bit better. Now, all I want you to do today is just really download the trigger point assessment and watch the video and go through it with it. So all you'll need is like a softball, a baseball, a cross ball, or any sort of foam roller. I prefer something harder like a PVC pipe. And then I want you just to share your results using the hashtag 5DayFit Challenge, so that way I can check in on you and see these. I would love to see it. I believe the first time that I did it, I got like 55 knots, and it was like crazy. It was a big wake-up call for me, so I'd love to see this.